Jarvis. Jarvis, the writer, the aspiring writer. How you doing today?
Good.
What's going on? What's on your mind?
When you talk about uh, I think compare action is do that falls in like something like trust or the surrounding you in or what you're trying to accomplish or do that does it does with successful in life or like just yourself?
So I think that's a great question, Jarvis. You're asking if trust, of building trust as an action step. Is that what you're asking me?
Yes, it's like the actions and like how a person carry themselves.
So
And
so I think it does. And I want to respond to that in tomorrow's lesson or the next lesson on Monday. It's actually about accountability. And that's how we build trust. But here's how I want to respond to what you're saying. An action step are all the little tiny steps that we have to take to demonstrate our commitment to being successful. So right now, I asked a question in your group. I said, does anybody have anything to ask? You took action. You decided to get out of your seat, come up to the chair, and because I wasn't clear enough, you asked me a question. So yes, building trust starts with taking an action. So my recommendation is you begin thinking about what challenges am I going to face in the future? How is the marketplace going to respond to who I am and what I am doing? Right now, the reality that I experienced, it may not be your reality because you've got a different life from me. You've got a life that you're serving. You've got 5 months until you get out. Isn't that right? Worst case. When I was in there, I had 26 years to serve. So people would always look at me as being a bad person. I didn't complain about that. I understood that. I understood what the prosecutor said when he said, if I spent every day of my life in prison working to change, and I was in prison for 300 years, the society would still be at a significant net loss. That really woke me up. It helped me realize people will never trust me, Jarvis. People will never trust who I am. And even though I've been home now for 6.5 years or so, I don't even remember. I got out in 2013 in August. So in August, it'll be 7 years. And it's June the 5th when we're recording this. So I can tell you that I had to start thinking about all these challenges I would face while I was going through jail, while I was going through prison, that people would always see me as a cocaine dealer unless I did something about it. And that's the same thing that I would encourage you to do. If you want to build trust, Jarvis, you can start right now by writing a new story about your life. If you want to be a writer, you've got to be thinking about, well, what challenges am I going to face in the future? And I think I'm going to face challenges in the future because I didn't have the pedigree or the background as a lot of other people who become writers. Most writers don't start their career inside of a prison or a jail. But you know what? There are some writers that do. And they do it by doing the first action step that you just took, asking a question. That's an action step. And that's how you build trust. Go ahead.
But what about like overruling or sort of like mistreatment, but we all live in different lives and stuff like that as a source or wherever we at in the world and stuff. But it's like overruling or mistreatment, but we have different lives and different stage. But how do that plays in like success or
Well, it plays in, Jarvis, because you want to help people who are living in struggle and are from different backgrounds. As you just said, you know a lot of people who are going through the same thing that you're going through or that you have gone through. You've had it sounds to me like you are very familiar with people who have had a tough life. Is that right?
yes?
And you're probably wondering, what does it take for your children? Do you have children?
I have one son.
So you want your son to have a better life. Isn't that right?
Yes.
And you
But
know
I
that.
just
Go ahead.
I just don't want, like, I see a positive, but some people I do hang out with, I don't see them as friends. I see them way different, but the people I hang out with always have issues or overriding in life or always have distreatment taught. So I try not to call them my friends, but I don't know why I socialize with them, but
Well, that's what you have to be thinking about. You have to be thinking about every decision that you make. How does it relate to what I say I want to become? Every single decision, including the people with whom you associate, not only when you get out of jail, but while you are in jail. When I was in jail, I was around a lot of negative talk. You might be somewhat familiar with that negative talk where people are telling you how to think, how to live, what to do. Okay? You are a man and you have the ability to say, do I like the direction my life is going in, or do I want to pursue a better direction? You know, Jay, he asked me a couple of days ago, he said, how do I plant a new seed? I plant a new seed by making a commitment. When we finish our course together and you go to your cell, you could be thinking, what do I really want my life to look like? What does success look like? I'll tell you a story. I may have told you this story before, but when I was in the halfway house, I was already creating these possibilities for formerly incarcerated people to get into the job market. And I built relationships with a lot of employers, and those employers told me that if you send people that have gone through your kind of training, I will hire them. I will give them a job as long as they can go through this type of a training. They've gone through this training and they want to work. So a guy in jail asked me, can you get me a job? And I said, yeah, I'm going to get you. I got it set up. You're going to go have an interview with this company and start your life. And so the guy comes back and he didn't get the job. And he said, yo, bro, what happened, man? I thought you said you had me that job hooked up. And I said, I did. I said, I don't know. Let me see what happened. And I called the manager, and the manager told me, he said, look, you could send the guys to see me, but they still have to deliver. This guy came to his interview. He was slouching in his chair. He had his baseball cap on, had no interest in the job, just took it as an entitlement. So the point I'm saying is that somebody can give you the pathway, Jarvis, but if you are not committed to showing how you're going to bring value, if you are not committed to say, I'm going to separate myself from people that are giving me negative talk, then you're going to keep getting that same outcome. If you want to change your life, it starts by doing what you just did. You took action and you asked questions. You've got to surround yourself with completely positive mindset, and you should be also writing and talking about what was the impetus to change? What started me changing? And if you can document that story, Jarvis, if you can say, I wanted a better life for my son and for me and for the people I care about and the people I love and for my community. You start right there. So that's the commitment. That's what you say you want. What are the tools and the tactics that you've got to develop? Maybe it's more educational skills. Maybe it's more social skills. Maybe it's more critical thinking skills. Those are action steps to develop that. And then how am I holding myself accountable? Did you get that worksheet that I sent that's that allows you to ask yourself questions? Where am I on a scale of 1 to 10? Did you get that sheet?
From yesterday?
I think it was the day before yesterday, but yeah, it was a sheet that I sent in. It's blue and yellow.
I think I got it.
So look at that. I created that document for each of you to begin measuring yourself. Am I doing this? Am I defining success in a manner that is very clear? Am I setting goals that are really smart, that are specific, measurable, action themed, that are realistic and time bound? Am I doing that? Am I moving forward with 100% commitment? Do I have the right attitude? Do I see that if I do this, Jarvis, my life is going to be different? What action steps am I taking today? You took an action step that's really hard to do. You got up in front of a class and got up and asked this question, and I'm really grateful that you're doing it. And tomorrow we're going to talk about accountability. And then we're going to talk about awareness. And then we're going to talk about being authentic. And then we're going to talk about celebrating every achievement. And then in the last class, we're going to talk about how we continue this path by sowing seeds of gratitude for those around us. All of that is the 10-part plan of what it takes to begin building a life of success, even if you're inside of a jail or a prison. And I can only give you my commitment. I'll continue showing you what I've learned from leaders and what I have embraced and what has working for me. Is that fair?
Yes.
All right.
And it's
Accountability. That's going to be tomorrow's class. We'll talk
Okay.
about that tomorrow. Today is just action, and you took action by coming up here. Now, take the next step. When you go back to your cell, go through the grid and see how many people are influencing you. Who do I want to surround myself with? My mentors. Do you know what a mentor is, Jarvis?
No, sir.
A mentor is somebody that can teach you, somebody that you can learn from. You need to think, where are you getting your information? Who is teaching you right now? When I was in prison, I had a lot of teachers. I never met those teachers. I never got an opportunity to meet them face to face or even have a conversation like you and I are having right now. But I could learn from them just by reading a book, just by, studying. And then they became like people I wanted to be like them. So find somebody that you want to be like, somebody that inspires you, somebody that teaches you, and then start reverse engineering. How did they get there? Figure this out. And then start modeling their behavior and their actions with little action steps. Does that sound fair?
Yes.
Awesome. So let's continue with this course today. Feel free to come up anytime. All right, brother?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, bud.